Hi, everyone. As people get into the room, it's 11 o'clock on Monday, Eastern Standard Time, and we're here to do the live tarot reading for this week. It's a very layered week of energies, so there's that. Typically, I do these at 10, but we don't have a set time for these. It's really whenever my schedule allows, and I really try to be here live for you so that if you have questions and just another time to connect in addition to our Tangent Tuesday. So if you are joining me live, leave a little comment, say hi, and we'll get to the reading here in just a minute. So it's a really interesting week. I don't ever use the word interesting lightly. Hi, Chris. Good morning. But it is really layered. So tomorrow on Tangent Tuesday, it will be our new moon ritual tomorrow. So we will talk about the new moon in depth tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Good morning, Paula. But today I just wanted to touch on the layers of the week, right? So if you're joining me on YouTube, say hi in the comments, leave a little emoji, just say hi. Oh, yay. Good morning, Brandon. So it's a layered week. I'm going to keep repeating that as everybody joins. So today is Monday. It's a Cookie Monday. Tuesday, Mercury finally stations retrograde, okay? And so we've been in that shadow of it slowing down. And then tomorrow is the official retrograde, where it appears to be going backwards, but really it's just stationary in the cosmos, and everything else moves past it. And so, like my husband said, isn't it always in retrograde? It can feel like that because it's 3 times a year that it goes in retrograde, that it stations retrograde. And there's the 2-week shadow period before that and after. And I'm very vocal that I feel that it's most intense. I don't want to say worse, but I do sometimes, in the shadow phases prior and post the stationing. It's like, you know, old school, like car and like a standard engine, you know, where you're trying to like learn how to shift gears and it kind of stutters or catches. So there's that layer big time this week because tomorrow it finally stations retrograde. So that, like, Mercury retrograde gets blamed for everything. It's really fun, and I'll do a little post about it tomorrow, of course, on Instagram. But it's just a time to go slowly, to buffer more time for things. Things will take longer. They will be interrupted. Make sure that you edit and re-edit emails before you send them. It's just a time of things kind of getting a little mixed up and jumbled, but it asks us to take a step back, go slow, rethink, really think, and kind of reevaluate. So it's a lovely introspective time. Don't try to do things in a hurry. Don't do things by the seat of your pants in this period of time. If you all are joining us, hi, Jill. Say hi in the comments. And that way I know you guys are here, and it's just nice to see who's here so I can say hello to you. So Mercury retrograde is a big one. It's happening in Pisces. So we have all this Pisces energy. And if you're just now joining, our new moon is on Wednesday. It's in Pisces, right? So it's all this watery energy, but Mercury is retrograding in Pisces also. So this layer of water. Mercury doesn't like water. Mercury likes to fly and run really fast. And it's kind of like Mercury doesn't know how to swim. It's like slogging through things. So there's a couple of big energetic things that make us feel like the slog, either like really stuck mud. And also remember that we're making this transition and turn from winter into spring in the Northern Hemisphere, where most of the unicorns are. So we're feeling this very muddy crawl out. Like, we'll talk about that more around the spring equinox. But we're still getting that sensation of like Mercury wants to move really fast and deliver messages. Mercury's in water and doesn't really know how to swim and doesn't like it, and it slows him down. So the new moon on Wednesday is also in Pisces. So hyper dream time messaging, really watery. Pisces is the most psychic of the signs. And it's a lot of introspection, a lot of gifted messaging. And so it asks us to be quiet. So if we don't feel like super high energy or like moving, then that's really what we're supposed to feel like right now. The goal is to find quieter time, introverted space to really think, to meditate, to sleep, to nap, you know, and to kind of space out in order to receive our messaging right now. The final layer to this week, and I'm just touching on it before I get to our reading, because there's been a lot of comments in the private Facebook group and a lot of private comments to me about, oh my God, I just don't feel like, you know, energy is really super low. Listen to your body. There's nothing wrong with it. The energy is low, but the energy is underwater. So it's slow, it's dreamy, it's psychic, it's got a lot to offer, and it can be dark, right? You get to the depths of the ocean, that's like the darkest of the dark. So we have a lot of these layers. The final layer to this week in particular is that Uranus is moving back into Taurus. So if you remember months and months and months ago that we talked about Uranus was moving out of Aries into Taurus, this ended a 7-year cycle. Well, then Uranus had this little like hop, skip, and like it stationed retrograde and ended up back in Aries for a while. So now we're going out of Aries and into Taurus with Uranus. And Uranus is another one of those big cycles, like Chiron. So we are in the stage of endings, 7, 8-year, 9-year closures and karmic ending cycles. And that always brings up just like this like meh or retrospective or kind of melancholy ennui, you know, like Pisces is just all of that. So try to enjoy it. The layer of Uranus here is interesting because it's moving into Taurus, and this is, oh, good, Brandon. So Uranus moves into Taurus, right? Taurus is an earth sign. So we have all of this water and then a lot of earth, like a big transition into earth. And this makes mud, right? These two biggest energies are just like murky. And as I always talk about around springtime, it feels like that anyway, coming out of winter in the northern hemisphere into spring. So it's that muddy, like clearing out. This is when we lighten up our foods. This is when we switch a little bit of our movement patterns on the mat to help clear it out. But lotuses come out of the mud. So spring is fresh starts, new beginnings, but we're still in this final slog. Like in New York, we have a snow day. My kids are home. Like there's no snow. It's just slush out there. So this is kind of when the snow melts off and into the earth and it just turns into this like yuck mud. We're like, that's not fun. That's not pretty. It's just kind of yucky. And so the energy has this muddy, slog, slowed down feeling where we're like, are we ever going to make any progress? Are we ever going to get ahead? Are we really ever going to know what we're supposed to be doing? So this muddy, watery feeling really lends itself to like not having a damn clue what's going on, feeling melancholy, perhaps a little depressed, and just like whatever. I don't even care kind of attitude. So Uranus is, yes, this is it, Jill. This is like this is also kind of this final frontier of like all the planets being direct. So, you know, we've had this little span of time where we've like, yeah, but it's not time to do that yet. So Mercury is stationing retrograde. Uranus is moving out of it, but Mercury is like telling us to slow down again. So there's a lot of stop-start this year. 2019 is full of blessings. That is fact. And it feels really good if you get down into the essence of the gut instincts and this energy. It's very promising, okay? But promising isn't fruition, right? Like this is like, hang on, be patient. And this month of March is a really, I don't know month. So this water and mud and this slog and this like, what does it matter what I do right now? So, and go, you know, other astrologers and other, you know, energy, you know, readers and teachers, spiritual teachers, like you're going to hear a lot of different versions of things, but the common thread is, I don't know. So I can think of two in particular that they're being real loud about the I don't knows. And I really have, strangely, I think because my moon is in Pisces and I'm more familiar with Pisces energy, it's about surrender, it's about faith, and it's really about trust that we really don't know how things are going to turn out. And that is absolutely the time to just don't do anything. Calm down, stop, meditate, read a book, journal, keep thinking, which is what Mercury retrograde tells us to do, which is what the new moon tells us to do, because this is receiving messaging and meditation and restoration and downloads. And Uranus in Taurus is a funky one. So we, back when it moved, we talked about it a lot. Uranus is the spell breaker, and it's the disruptor. It's electrical current energy. So Uranus is technological, it's new, it's advanced, it's evolution and forward thinking. And Taurus is old school and money and materialism and like practicality. So these two together, I'm like really excited about Uranus finally being in Taurus, because this says breakthroughs financially for us. I think there's a lot of positivity anchored in this Uranus moving into Taurus, and this is another 7-year cycle. So it's very promising about expansion of your finances, about breaking through glass ceiling kind of things, borders that have been put on you. There's a real potential for growth. So again, we go to 2019, promises and blessings. And I didn't mean this morning to be so much about the astrology, but that's what's coming. I promise to get to the reading. That Uranus, if you're really grounded, so Taurus is grounded earth. It wants stability. It needs stability. If you can get grounded, then we can channel this Uranian energy to really make magic, like a lightning rod. If we are ungrounded in this time, then it's like just bled energy that kind of blows things up. So think about, lightning, it hits a tree and it splits the tree, right? But it also acts as a lightning rod so it doesn't catch other things on fire, right? So this time, again, it's all this watery, all this melancholy, all the ennui. Like, I know, I just like to make fun of that word when I say it because I think it's fun. That if we can stay on the mat consistently in our movement patterns and work with our grounding foods, because Taurus is grounded in earth and the highest point of materialism, quality, high vibration quality, things that last a lifetime, then we can really channel this energy. If we give too much into the watery, like whatever, everything just is sad, it's all gonna go. Just remember that where your focus goes, energy flows. So we really need to hold tight to the focus reins right now of what we want and the promise of a future, right? And promise of blessings and change, understanding that we can't really actualize do right now just yet. Hang in there. We'll get to March 20th, and that we need to think and receive and trust the unknown right now. If anything that I'm hearing, like, I can't even tell you how loudly it is. It's this deep water energy, like the depths of the ocean, like dive into the dark. What's hiding in the dark in your, subconscious programming, in our past life remembrances. This is where the goods are, and that we can't stand in the sun. We can't stand on the beachfront at all times. Sometimes we have to dive and swim, and this is diving and swimming time. Yeah. So the drowning feeling is real, okay? Because energetically, this is what it's offering us. And I think that strangely, typically like Pisces are just like, oh my God, we're so like boundaryless. That if you've got some Pisces prominently in your chart, sun, rising, or moon, this might actually be a little bit more comfortable because we're kind of used to it and it feels a little swimmy like home, and it's okay to surrender in this time period. Don't drown. Like the thing about this feeling is, and why I teach what I teach is like, go get on the mat, go do the movement patterns that I'm teaching you. They are the anchor of a unicorn wellness lifestyle. They are like the grounding element to be embodied and to sweep out, the stuck energies daily. And the ones for March, I'm so in love. I mean, I'm really in love with the series of movement that I've been bringing you all lately, but March is another extra yummy one that I'm like, please, you guys, press play every day. It will brew real magic in your bodies, and it will really help you navigate through this weird, stuck, muddy, like overwhelming, watery, drowning feeling, okay? Being embodied is important, especially to Pisces, because we like to zip out and get all like, emotional, and we need to be embodied and still present in the physical form. Okay, let's see. Yeah, it's very true. And everybody's feeling that. So Brandon, it's just really good that you're feeling for sure that you have the drive, but nothing's working. That's true. It's really true. So this is a moment of faith. and trust, and understand that, you know, astrology and tarot and all of these things are not fortune telling. We can't tell us, me or you, exactly how the lay of the land is going to go. I'm in my readings, especially one-on-one, my clients know this. I'm not going to tell you how it's going to go. We're going to ask a question, and it's usually about what's the next best steps forward for our highest and greatest good. Because I talk a lot about the universe is always moving furniture behind our heads, and we got to figure out where to put our butts, like, so we don't land on the floor. We want to end up in the chair. That depending on our decisions, things change in the ethers and the cosmos, and then guides and guardian angels and our path gets rearranged. Sometimes because of our choices, things get rearranged in really beautiful ways, but that takes more time to bring into fruition in this 3D realm. What does that mean? It means we're going to have to trust. It means there's a lot of unknown going on. So also in this wait, trust, faith stages, we're being tested as good stewards. So can we still do the work? Can we be patient? Can we still be in meditation and embodiment and in good fuel when things feel or seem like the ship is just like off course and drifting? You know, so this is the time to anchor into your mat work, into your meditation. And I am a broken record. It will always be the time to anchor into your mat work and in meditation and in hydration. But this is why I teach what I teach. Movement, fuel, spiritual ritual, right? And self-care. These components allow us to go, I'm just going to hang out in these drifty seas and see what is being offered in all of this murky mud, because there is lightning, right? And there is a lotus blossom coming. What's it going to look like? I don't know. So keep reading, rereading your notes, your journals, your ideas, your thought processes. And there's not one answer right now. There's we don't know what the answer is going to be, but there's a positive direction. And this is where intuition really comes in. Why last month, your movement patterns focused on connecting the heart and the third eye in particular, about decalcifying the pineal gland and detoxing your brain, because we have to be able to trust our intuition right now, how we feel about things at our gut, not our feelings as humans, like our deep feels. So the deep feels right now that are coming through for me to let you all know is the channel messaging is that there are blessings, there is potential, it is hope for the future, but it's like the, you know, when you go like in the ocean, like swimming, and it's like you're stirring up all the sand at the bottom and it gets all cloudy and yucky, you know, a little bit like the snow globe. You got to wait for it to settle. So we're in the middle of the cloudy yucky, but when it settles, you know, there may very well be a treasure box sitting there that wasn't there before. Okay. Okay. So don't worry about it. I mean, really, please don't worry about it, because stress is going to generate the wrong things right now. And again, it's really important for us to stay focused on what we want. The intention setting, our spell casting, you know, go back to witch's work in lesson 2 and lesson 4 here on YouTube, because it talks about like we're manifesting all the time. It's where our thoughts go. So if we get stuck in these negative patterns, that's what will come to fruition. So we can be in active co-creatorship of aiming at the things we really want. And the important part is to stay anchored in that, especially when things feel unknown and unsettled. That doesn't mean they're not going to shift. That doesn't mean things might not change a little bit. Just stay focused on what you want, or the big umbrella. So when people come and book one-on-ones with me for tarot readings and they go, I don't know which question to ask, I have all of these things that I want to look into, that I always offer a question that acts like an umbrella, right? Which typically goes back to abundance or worthiness, because the things that we tend to want are for a more stable, secure life, right? Bigger home, health insurance, activities for our kids, you know, things for our career to grow and to be seen and to help more. So it's the umbrella question, and the umbrella, I would say umbrella intentions right now of what do we really want, right? This is new moon energy. It's about setting intentions and making wishes. On the whole, what's the big thing that we want? Safety, security, love, worthiness, instead of it being like, I want this to happen in my career. Well, let's go higher level, because it's really unknown. Allow divine universe to have a say in it, even though we need to be asking things and aiming at things. But there's the dance. Okay, so this period of time, really until the 20th, is very unknown. We're not supposed to know right now. What we can get is clarity on next steps forward. Okay, but it's really asking us to anchor into our practices of grounding because of Uranus and all of this water. So it's like, it's okay to be unknown. It really is, but keep focused on the positive. Don't spiral into the negative. And this, I personally believe that this is the fight of Pisces, right? So it's the two fish that swim, and Pisces can go to the depths, which can be dark, a little like Scorpio, right? And then you get turned around and you literally don't know which way is back up to the ocean. So you got to stay focused on where the light is, and maybe have a little like string on you back to the to the beach as you dive for the, you know, inquiry and for the revelations and for the healing. But you have to be able to trace your way back up somehow in grounding. Okay, and that's really where Pisces can go very, very, very wrong. I have more to offer you about Pisces and Pisces season, but I didn't mean to take over the reading today, and I do want to get to your cards in a timely fashion. So tomorrow's Tangent Tuesday will be about the new moon, and then hopefully, probably Thursday, because I'm traveling this week, that we'll get into more of the Pisces bits of things, because we've got from now until the 20th to really work through that. But it is swimming. It is a little oppressive. It is a little depressed. But how can we surrender? How can we have faith? And how can we maybe not swim, right? Because Mercury like doesn't really know how to swim. And so maybe how can we float, you know, in this constructively? It's okay to rest. It's important to rest. Just looking at the comments before. Hi, Erica. Yay. Oh, yeah. Oh, Jill. Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. Oh, Brandon, thank you so much. Okay. Oh, Cynthia, hi. Yay. Well, and Cynthia, you guys who are in the private Facebook group, and then I get a lot of private emails. Still, as a group, this work is very private, right? And I'd love for you all to share as a community, but a lot of it isn't seen in the public, like, comments, because it's private work. And I've always been really cool about that. I like you all to connect as a community, to know that you're not alone, that we are really all going through these, myself included. And this energy is low and it's slow and it feels a little like you could capsize into real depression. And it's just unbelievably important now. And like the tether, right, that we tie around us and keep grounded on the beach, truly is the movement on the mat. Even if you're not pressing play and you go back to do some of the stretches or the foam rolling again, but know that the movement patterns that I have written for you are to keep that lifeline and embodiment, and to keep the energies going, and to work with what's being given to us. If you will notice in all of this watery energy this month in your movement patterns, there's a lot of mermaids. Okay, it's on purpose. We are straddling both sides of this really psychic watery realm right now, and the 3D big time. So the only last little note is in Uranus, is that Uranus moving into Taurus for the 7-year cycle, it's finished with its little retrograde and now it's going back, is that Uranus and Taurus, because Taurus is so stable and Uranus is the spell breaker and the rule breaker, that it's looking at how to balance progression and tradition. And so, or, you know, technology and evolution with stability and like a homestead. Like there's this very homey bit of this, okay? So these things go together, and we are really on this, don't want to say precipice because that sounds a little like bleh, but we are at the gateway, we are at a doorway for sure of really stepping through for some real breakthroughs as a collective consciousness between these things of progression and technology, and how do we keep things stable or get them to be more real again. So there is a reason I'm doing more lives with you all in this time period. Like there is a use to technology and I love it. It has literally allowed me to have the life that I have, more time with my children and traveling and reaching more people from home. But there is a call to connecting live in this next transition of things. So it's a balance of humanity and divinity, a balance of technology and tradition. And Uranus and Taurus calls to that, but is very linked because Taurus is finances and money, into how those things happen. And I feel it on this very personal level for us as unicorns this year. So keep your eye on the blessings. Know that 2019 offers blessings and and potential in the future, but we're still working through the mucky. The reward of it is in work part. And so part of the work and part of receiving blessings is trust and surrender. And I used to think those words were super dirty words. This season is just calling for it big time. Okay. Check little comments and then I'm going to get into the reading because more of you guys are here now. Hi. Okay. Let's look. Okay. So, oh yeah, you can hang on. Cynthia, thank you for helping here. Oh, good, Charlotte. Okay, so here we go. Let's get into the weekly reading, okay? Taking a little breath. I'm going through it with you guys. It's not that I have answers. I just get clarity and guidance. And I always say, even when it was just fitness that I was teaching, or the fitness and the fuel, it was that I'm up ahead with the flashlight. It's not that I know anymore. I still have to navigate all of these things. I'm just a few steps ahead. So just know that there's so much water energy, but water is magic too, right? It's psychic and it's mermaids and it's water dragons and it's maybe it's mermicorns. I don't know. There's a lot of dark, but there's so much magic in it. So have the faith, have the trust that this too shall pass. It's just part of the cycle. Okay. So here we go. 5-card reading for this week. I don't want to look at the calendar and say the right thing because Mercury retrograde already has me making like weird detailed mistakes for Monday, March the 4th through the 10th. All right. I'm using the Nicoletta Ciccoli deck. This is really my Pisces Scorpio season deck. Here we go. What does this week look like for us? And then we'll have the spirit in which to move through. I like it already. I got no poker face when it comes to the cards. You all know that. Okay. I also have a real thing for Alice in Wonderland for good reason. So there's a lot of that calling to us this week. The spirit in which to move through things out of the Soul Space Oracle deck. This is Jen Berlingo's deck. I'm not sure that she's making it anymore. So, go find her on Etsy or I think maybe it's on her own page. If you like these cards, because I don't know that she's still doing this deck and it's so yummy and the unicorns love it. And then a goddess to anchor into for the week. So I like the goddess card to anchor into because it is someone to call upon for protection, someone to call upon for strength and for assistance and guidance. It's also things to model this week to help us get through. Okay, that's funny and ironic and perfect. Okay, here we go. So for this week, we have the energy of like where we're starting from this week, the overall energy, which I love readings, right? This is the Ace of Pentacles, okay? So in this deck in particular, she's all glowy and kind of like swollen and blown up with the red bird of happiness, right? So aces are potential, they're opportunities, but it's like in this moment. So this is an opportunity this week to really step into happiness. The Ace of Pentacles is us planting and learning and understanding how to generate abundance. And so in some decks, it really focuses on the financial aspect of abundance. In this deck, it's about happiness. What makes you glow? What makes you feel all like swollen with that beautiful solar plexus, like joy and confidence, and allows you to not only like attract little red birds, but she's birthing them, right? Like she's putting joy out into the world. So the energy of this week is this opportunity to really understand how to plant and grow joy and abundance. And so joy, this internal set point of joy, allows for the fruition of finances and health and wellness, right? And love, because joy to me is like synonymous with love. So the overall energy of the week is really positive. So again, what I said is that this muddy, slow stage, it feels capsizing, but if you can get down to the essence of your intuition and the gut calling, there's blessings to be had in it. It's blessings in the future and potential for the future. It's very positive. It just doesn't feel that way right now. So don't go back into old paradigms of, I feel just this tiny bit of unknown. So unknown is fear. So then it capsizes the boat, right? Like, don't do that. Okay, this is the unknown. I used to look at that as fear. Now I look at it as trust and faith and trust and surrender. I'm going to sit in my boat and meditate and pull my oars in and say a prayer and kind of drift a little bit, wait for the sun to come back out, get those oars back out, and then start rowing again when things calm down. So it's the same scenario, but very different ways of approaching and different perspectives, okay? So that's a really positive space for the week. It's a beautiful space for the week. So that's where we're starting from, but that's the overall theme for the week, is that we're learning how to generate happiness and joy. And like, instead of feeling the off-on switch, like it's something that has to come from outside of us, something we have to buy, something that has to happen, that joy can really genuinely be generated, right? Beautiful. Next steps in this week, okay? And this is a great one. This is one of my favorites that I laughed at. This is 7 of Cups, okay? In this deck, it's like, hello, Alice in Wonderland. So I always have referenced following your white rabbit, right? Always. No matter how many white rabbits there are, no matter how weird and strange it may look to you, I think that's always the biggest judgment. And then we turn this judgment on of what it looks like to other people. Like, why are they running after this white rabbit? She must be cray-cray. Or they don't see what you're running after and they're like, why is she running? So in this week, the next steps is really to embrace and follow your white rabbit. This is about your intuition. What calls you? What do you feel in the depths of your gut? Like, what is interesting to you? At the very least, a tarot reading, right? So maybe you want to get a book on tarot. Maybe you want to do a little few for yourself. This is what calls to you is the next step in things. So this is always like, not what sounds logical, not what the next step is to make money, what calls your intuition. And I'm even going to separate what calls your heart right now. What piques your interest right now? What do you wish you knew more about? What would you like to explore? So that's the next step this week, okay? Big steps this week. How are things really going to transition and move into the highest and greatest good for you? And this is a deep, man, and I also see these as we've done these consistently as a little bit of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Okay, and I know that's the weekly bit, knowing that energy is not absolute, that it bleeds into one day or the next. Clearly, this is a weekly reading. But this shows us that the biggest steps in this week, this would also look like Wednesday. This is the new moon. Okay, this is 5 of Pentacles. So we got a lot. We've got 3 Pentacles and a cup in here and a major arcana. So Pentacles is the earth element, Taurian energy, right? What do I want to see come to fruition? Finances, abundance, and joy and health. 5 is the number of change. So how are things really going to transition for the highest and greatest good this week? There's a bit of a bloodletting. Okay. And I always talk about this card too. It's like, it's kind of that red bird of happiness is tearing her heart open. So this also goes with I think the 3 of Swords, of a heart healing, of mourning and grieving and really letting the hurt out. So this would be on the new moon, on Wednesday, you know, this energy of the moon of like, what can I let go of? I know it's not a full moon, but in every lunation, majorly, we're asked to let go of something so something new can come in. So that bloodletting of mourning and grieving, whatever the deep, dark depth of this Pisces season is for us, and just crying or being angry and venting, and even if you don't know why, get it out. Because if it's kept in, it's toxic. And so that creates blocks, that disallows manifestation, that thwarts evolution and growth. Let it out. So the biggest step this week is really about letting some of that stashed up, pent up junk that's really been toxic to ourselves, that's grief and sadness and anger, you got to let it go. So find a constructive way. And if you go, I don't know, I don't think I'm angry, I don't think I'm sad, that's okay. Then journal and just ask yourself and just don't judge it, let it come out. You know, if the mood actually does hit, you know, or Epsom salt bath, putting yourself in water, or watching, this is where I think reading and watching things can be really cathartic empathetically. Find something sad to watch, see if it instigates anything or initiates anything. Let it, and if you don't get to this pokey part, hi Kayla, then that's okay. Maybe in your new moon wishes that you write out, I wish to release whatever is hidden in the deep dark depths of my soul. I wish to release, mourn, and grieve, and release it in this lifetime and all others, never to return, for my highest and greatest good. Because the Five of Pentacles says that if we step into spirituality, if we trust and surrender, that all of the wealth, warmth, riches, and I don't mean like dollar money. I mean having the things that we need, feeling protected and feeling welcomed are all available to us. So there's a real like cathartic, like letting it out this week. That's the biggest step to our highest and greatest good. Assets to this week. This is the Three of Pentacles, and another direct reference to Alice in Wonderland. In this card, I always think, who are you? You know, like, who are you? And we all can sit in this muddy energy and go, I have no idea. I don't have any idea anymore. I know my identity is changing. I know I'm being asked to step into more and different, but I don't know. The assets to the situation is the Three of Pentacles. 3 is the number of creativity. Pentacles is, again, earthly abundance, joy, finances, and health. But what 3 of Pentacles really says is keep making. There is mastery in the repetition of habits. So it often calls to an artist, you know, that's like chipping away in the corner of the cathedral, and they've been working on this damn cathedral for 40 years. So you are your own cathedral that you're working on. But the repetition of the habits creates mastery and actually cultivates creativity. So you know me, I'm here, it's coming from me, it's not completely unbiased. Get on the mat, hydrate yourself, work the monthly meditation, listen to the tarot readings, and just keep working the craft of creativity. Creativity is love. Love is flow. So these are all the same bits. The number 3 is a feminine number. Creativity is feminine because, you know, biologically we birth children and we bring through souls. We are the courier of souls. So there's this feminine quality of lunar quality, right? Of listening, of meditation, of receiving, of restoration, of just staying calm. So super side note, I finally watched the movie, you know, the Notorious RBG last night. I'm not saying nobody's programmed exactly the same, but she is so quiet, so calm, like so thoughtful. She is literally just soaking everything up, quietly listening, and then goes and writes and reads and allows that repetition of mastery to come through. She's had an incredible life that really cultivated in mastery that she probably didn't totally aim at. She just stayed true to her integrity of what called her soul, what was curious, what she wanted to know more about, what she wanted to help with. And so then it becomes, who are you? Well, we don't really know who we are, right? Like you just can't know the end of your lifetime, the whole story. You can just keep crafting and creating and anchoring into the habits that pile up over time that speak your integrity and speak your legacy. So there's something about legacy in this week. And about who you are. We are all transitioning and we don't really know right now, and that is okay. Surrender to the not knowing, keep with the creative anchoring habits. It'll show up eventually, right? Okay, so the outcome of this week, so beautiful. This is the Star card. Okay, so the Star card is connected to Aquarius, but the Star says to wish big. Make big, gigantic, sweeping wishes. What do you want? The other bit of Seven of Cups and other decks asks, what do we want? What do we want our cups filled with in our life? In this deck, it's really more of a curiosity of like what's interesting, but it is still about what do you want your life filled with? Do you want it filled with the mundane things that are already here? Wah, you know, or do you want some magic and you're curious about how to add other things into your life? So the outcome of the week is the Star card, that it's a new moon week. This is about making wishes, setting intentions, and aiming really big, right? Because if you aim for the moon and you miss, you land on a star. So we are looking for solutions for the highest and greatest good. Aquarius wants to solve for the collective and doesn't care how it gets there, but Aquarius is really evolutionary and genius and brilliant and looks at things and thinks about things in different ways. So I feel like the end of the week is a bit of an answer to prayers, like some sort of wish granted, but you've got to aim really big with it so that even if it comes out kind of minimal, you recognize it as a blessing and a prayer answered, but you're like, oh, that came out in a really weird way, but yeah, that totally solved it. Okay, great. You know, the universe is listening, even in all of this sweepy, soupy, muddy, watery, unknown. There are some tangible outcomes at the end of the week that are promising, that say the universe is listening, that are sparkly, you know, and they may be, I get this feeling that they actually may be really tiny, but they are confirmation that the universe is listening. That's what I hear. That there's confirmation at the end of this week, something does come to fruition. It's much smaller than you thought, but it says the universe is listening. So this is great. Okay, spirit in which to move through this week. Right on. Be brave. And look, is that a lotus flower? Could be. You know, like just be really brave with your surrender. This is what I hear. Just this week, right? It's only one day at a time, one moment at a time, 1 week at a time. So this reading is for this week. Be brave in your surrender. Be faithful in not knowing. Just keep doing. It's little bits, but there's no hard push. There's no big breakthrough. It's just small. But it really, this week is a call to get back into meditation. Any guided stuff that helps you before you sleep. Dreamtime messaging is big. If your dreams, I mean, it's been a busy week in Dreamtime at this house. It may not make sense. It's just always a sign that you're very connected to the ethers, right? And there's a lot of messaging and downloads. Let your sympathetic nervous system just soak things in. I think that's the thing that I'm hearing the most is resting, constructive rest position and sleep and meditation to just let the body absorb energetically what's going on. If you have time or if you can, you know, a Reiki treatment of some kind, energetic clearing and working with the energies this week is just would be a blessing if there's a way to navigate that and facilitate that in your life right now. So if you can't book a session with somebody, then there's some interesting people on YouTube. Not that I have no connection to her, but Loon and Nate, I love her work. She does ASMR and Reiki healing by proxy. And when I'm feeling like I just need to be supported and space held from somebody else, I use hers before bedtime. Final card of the weweek, the goddess to anchor into is White Tara. And I did laugh at this one because she's being birthed out of a lotus flower. Okay, so just we're headed into spring, you know, out of the mud. Here we go, something beautiful. And so White Tara says sensitivity. You are becoming increasingly sensitive. Avoid harsh relationships, environments, situations, and chemicals. This might as well have a big old unicorn on the card, or those of us who have autoimmune disorders, because if you're feeling particularly in that capsized space, that depressive space. This is a big call that you need higher vibration support in your day-to-day life. And that's really what I love to help people do in that practical aspect of cracking your food code, of getting on the mat, of maybe not hanging out with people you used to hang out with. If you can't change your work environment, make sure you're carrying some crystals. Make sure you say a little prayer of protection in the morning. You know, maybe carry selenite in your pocket because it's a cleanser as you go. It's kind of like you being the little cleansing spray and saging your way in and out of places. That it's just that as we are more sensitive and more connected and being asked to anchor into our intuition more, than us being in spaces and places and around others who are completely unaware and ain't woke, that takes its toll on us. And so if we're in too much of this depressive space, it can feel like You guys just aren't clearing stuff off enough. There's not a cleansing. It's okay. It's just, if we're being called and told that it's extra sensitive right now, then just make provisions for it. Let me read this card and then we'll finish up for today. Okay. As you've purified your inner world of thoughts, actions, and intentions, it's natural that you seek purity in your outer world as well. This is to acknowledge your heightened sensitivity, which is real as it seems. You've stripped away the outer protective layers of unneeded defenses, which blocked your psychic and spiritual awareness. Now you're on the path of ascension, which calls for your heightened awareness. And with this awareness comes new levels of sensitivity to the impure and harsh. Your body is a trustworthy instrument of measurement of your tolerance level. Steer clear of that which your body signals you to avoid. Take excellent care of your body and it shall serve you well. I'm going to rename this the Unicorn Wellness card. Various meanings of this card. Acknowledge and honor your sensitivity. Take steps to protect yourself from negativity. Avoid chemicals. Steer clear of situations with loud noise, crowds, violent media, and other triggers. I don't know if I said this anywhere, but I've been wearing my noise canceling headphones a lot in the last week because the world just seems too noisy. So it's knowing our sensitivities is really important. And I used to really spiral and worry and really, really spiral into depression because I was so sensitive and everything was so affecting to my body. But when I learned how to navigate it, it's become a blessing and the psychic gifts expand because of it. And we just go, this is who I am. And I just need more support and I need more self-care. That's okay. It's beautiful. About White Tara. White Tara is an aspect of Tara, a female Buddha and Hindu mother creator. The many female faces of the Buddha and the mother creator are represented as various colors of Tara. White Tara represents purity, maturity, and compassion. The eyes on her hands, feet, and forehead also allow her to be aware of all prayers. She helps us to live long and peaceful lives. I don't know if you guys can see. I'll take a photograph of the cards and post it on Instagram as the whole layout so you can refer to it there. It's a beautiful week. It really is. Just take care of yourself. As always, right? Okay, I want to check the comments. Oh, cute. Cynthia, yeah, you slept with your selenite. You want to see my little buddy? And I'm totally drawing a blank on the name of the crystal right now. My brain, sometimes with the channeling this week, you guys, I really space out and then I can't do like functional day-to-day things. I'll post it in the comments which one this is. Is it apotholite? I think so. Anyway, this is what I slept with last night. And it's similar to selenite. It's like super high vibration, angel connected. And I totally slept with this one. A little pokey, but I did it. And I felt unbelievably better this morning. Oh, Brandon, thank you so much. Yeah. Oh, there you go. See, Cynthia's always my right hand on these. Oh, good, Shauna. Okay, well, I'm going to log off and get this posted. I appreciate those that you can be here with me live. Tomorrow on Tangent Tuesday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'll be live again. It will be our new moon ritual. So I will do single card tarot pulls for, between 6 and 10 of you. It will be on Instagram and YouTube. I will stay longer on YouTube because inevitably that's how it works. And I'm happy to do that. It's kind of like an extra 15 minutes on YouTube. And we'll go over really more in depth the new moon energies, and we'll talk about, we'll go through Unicorn Bingo, which house it sits in for you in Pisces and what that means and what to be looking for and what to be working with. If you want to book a private session with me, the link will be below. It's always here on the channel at tandygutierrez.com, but Cynthia was awesome and shared it in the comment thread today also. You just book online. Most of them are offline sessions, meaning you book, you send me your question, I record it and just email it to you. You can book live with me. There's less availability. And really think about trying the 30-day guest membership at unicornwellness.studio. This is like the touch-in and the philosophy and the helpers, but that is really the day-to-day practice of how to swim and navigate the seas of the astrology and really work with it. And it is this balance of humanity and divinity in the physical body. We have to work with the physical body. We can't just work with the divinity and the energy. So there's a code below for that, and that's at unicornwellness.studio. If you have any questions at all time, if you're watching this after the fact, just leave a comment. Please click the like button. It's really helpful. Subscribe to the channel and then hit the bell, and that will alert you when I go live. So I'm still kind of looking to add more content to this channel and to be live more often here, but there's not a set schedule for that. So the bell is really useful for you guys. If you're around when I'm live, then come join me. Okay. I love you all very, very much. Happy new moon week. Happy Uranus into Taurus. Happy Mercury retrograde. This Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it's a lot of energy transition. So try to float with it, really. Okay. I love you, and I will see you all. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay. All right. Bye, guys.